I ended up getting a DUI. I just kind of played it off like, oh, I'm fine, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
happens to everybody. And then about 6 months later, I got another one.
Yeah. 2 DUIs at 20, my friend. You're not waiting to start on this, huh? Oh my God! If you can take this off, it's gonna cost you a fortune over the rest of your life.
Oh, I know.
What do you think?
That's not good. That's not good at all.
That's not good. Welcome to Finance Action. My name is Romain, and together we'll dive into someone's personal finances, learning from their stories and taking action towards their financial future. Follow me along as we discover the story of Denton. Denton, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great, mate. So let's look at your profile. If we look at your financial perception, ranking it from chilling to Mayday, you've rated yourself as surviving. Can you tell me more about that financial situation and who is Denton?
Yeah, so with the whole rating of surviving, it's, I got in trouble a little bit. That kind of hurts it. So I'm pretty much living like the standard paycheck to paycheck, right?
Okay.
The standard American thing
Yeah.
right now. I just make enough just to get by, and I'm just smart enough with my money to be able to pay the things I need to pay off, but not enough to where I can save money. Growing up, mom was kind of the same way. She
Okay.
wasn't the best with her money. My dad was always like spot on, never spent his money on anything. So I kind of got the best of both worlds
I
from
see.
both of them. So
Experience, yeah.
yeah, I know what to do. I know what not to do. It's just a matter if I do it myself. But I took out a loan that I shouldn't have took out for a car, right? $4,000, right? Just didn't pay it off for months, just completely ignored it. I was like, oh, one day I'll pay it off. Then all those court fines happen. I had a couple of those. I think one of my loans went to collection. It was that $4,000 loan. They went to collection. They were like, you need to start paying it. So then it was like, all right. So I start paying it. Then all right, we don't need to go to collections.
I see.
So I start paying it off, making the payments. It's down to $700 now.
Nice.
But, I'm hoping once I pay it off, I'll be able to start saving money.
Yeah, I mean, you're only 20 years old, mate. So you've pretty much recently finished high school. I mean, it's probably been a couple years, but I think number one, I felicit you for taking a spot to come to this show today. But I want to pinpoint one of the comments that you mentioned where you had some incidents. Can you tell me more about that?
I moved out of my parents' house like right around 18.
Okay.
I was living on my own, and like a lot of kids my age, I was out partying, driving around, drinking, doing all that like kids do.
Yeah.
But being 18 and living on your own, it's a different story because you don't have to go home and talk to your parents or something, right?
I see.
And it kind of turned a little worse, and I ended up getting a DUI back in January of 2022.
Oof, okay.
And, nothing really happened for the first time I got that. I just kind of played it off like, oh, I'm fine, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
happens to everybody. And then about 6 months later, I got another one.
Okay.
And that's when I knew, I need to stop doing this, right? This is going to cost me a lot of money.
Yeah. And it goes on your records too, no?
Yeah. But they suspended my license for the second one. They hadn't suspended it for the first one. So I was like, oh, they're never going to know about it. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to get my license back.
Mm-hmm.
They suspended it for 3 months. I had to reinstate it.
Mm.
I'm all worried, like, oh, my insurance is going to go up.
It's true.
It hasn't yet because
Yeah,
we're
but
still
it's gonna
going through
hit.
the court system. But,
It's going to hit.
it's going to hit me at some point.
Okay. 2 DUIs at 20, my friend. You're not waiting to start on this, huh? Kind of a tough start for you on that front. I guess we were all young, but we'll be looking at the financial implications of those DUI as we speak later into our different sections. But hey, you're taking good steps today, changing kind of your parkour of life, and let's move towards this, okay? So the way we're going to structure our discussion, let's look first at your income and your assets. So you work as a warehouse worker in, you mentioned it's like a...
I'm a lift operator. So
lift operator.
So I run like forklifts around the warehouse.
Okay. So how much does that pay?
That pays about $23 an hour.
Okay, and how many hours do you work a week?
Around 40.
Wow, so full-time job. Awesome. At the same time as doing your studies. Okay, that's kudos to you on that front. So you're making about $44,000 a year or $2,600 net per month. 20 years old against your category in the United States for median income between 20 and 24. You are quite higher. The median is at $36,500. So you're making greater than 50% of the population in that age bracket. And so are you having any other streams of income?
I was doing DoorDash, and, the whole deal with the DUIs.
Oh.
DoorDash doesn't take too kindly to that. So.
Okay. So they shut you down.
Yeah, they shut me down from that.
Okay, cool. So let's put $2,600 per month in salary. Let's look at some of your assets, and thank you for sharing some of the components around your checking account. Right now, I see a balance of $82.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel when you look at your balance? Like, does that make you stress out, or you feel like, okay, I guess I will work for it?
Not necessarily stress me out. I mean, a little bit, because I just got paid on Thursday.
Oh, I see.
So, but the thing with my job is they have an app where you can pull out money after your shift. So, like, if I really need money, like, it's at 82 right now, but if I go to work tomorrow, I work my 8-hour shift, I can pull out half of what I make that day if I really need to.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
It's kind of nice, but I get paid on the weekly, so I don't worry as much as if I got paid bi-weekly.
I see. Yeah, I mean, you got paid, a couple days ago, and you only have 82. So,
yes.
Again, you're running a little bit on a fine line here, my friend. Huh? It's tight. Huh? It's $82 if something arises. I mean, we want to raise that, and we want to raise that fast. Let's look at some other assets. You don't have a saving account, right?
No.
Okay. Do you have any retirement funds?
I think I'm putting into a 401k, but I'm not totally sure at the moment.
Okay. I think it would be good for you to check, just so you're aware of it.
Too.
The fact that you're just at the entry of the golden years from 20 to 30 is the moment where you want to invest as much as you can into your future. I think is an awesome asset to you, mate. So we want to make sure you think about some of your retirement play. And I know that, retirement at 20 years old, you're like, oh, come on, give me a break, dude. I'm not even close. I mean, look, I used to be like this. I'm only 30 years old, so I'm not too far from you. But you will thank me later as we discuss some of those recommendation points, and you will see what I mean by that, okay?
All right.
I don't want you to feel like it's too far, but I think it's going to be a smart play for you on that front. Okay, let's look at your transportation as an asset. Do you own a car?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's good. You bought it cash?
Yeah.
Okay, what car is it?
It's a 2004 Volkswagen Jetta.
Okay, how many miles?
It's about 145,000 on it.
Okay, so let's look at when did you buy it?
I'd say about 8 or 9 months ago.
How much did you pay for it?
It was around $3,000.
2004 Volkswagen Jetta private party right now on Kelly Blue Book is selling at 2,800. 147,000 miles, 45,000 miles. Not bad. You didn't make such a bad deal. Okay, you have it pretty much at the car value, so you didn't get into something too bad, as we've seen sometimes in this show. People buying cars that are like 30-50% higher than the value of the car, and they are already underwater by the time they leave. I mean, it's really rare for the most part that you make a profit once you leave the dealership, but at least you right now, if something hits the fan and you have to sell your car, you've only lost about $250 of it, and you've used it for a couple months. So not a bad transaction on that front, as long as you can keep it maintained, because when cars like this starts to have higher mileage, comes higher maintenance cost. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So that brings your current net worth, or your total assets, sorry, given that you have debt, your total assets right now at just under $3,000. Okay? So let's move on to your expenses and your debt. Do you still have your own apartment, or you?
No, I moved back in with my parents.
Oh, you moved back with your parents.
Yeah.
Okay. What made you take that decision?
Just with all those legal fees,
Mhm.
especially with the car and all that, I just can't afford rent.
Okay. I mean, that's a smart move at 20 years old. You know, I'm as much as staying with your parents may not be the, the most fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we were always young. Financial wise, if you are in good terms with your parents and you're okay with living with your parents for a couple years as a young person, 100%. Continue living with your parents at 20 years old right now is very good for you. So I encourage you to continue to do that. Let's move on to your transportation. So you own your own car. Awesome. How much would you say you spend per month on gas?
Well, I'd say like weekly, I'm probably spending about 40 to 50 on gas.
Okay.
I
not
at least
bad.
fill up like once a week.
Okay. And your insurance, I mean, right now it seems to be like 180, but you should forecast for something much greater than that once the DUI hits. Huh?
Yeah,
How much do you think it's going to cost you?
well, I already have my SR22, which is only another 20, but my actual rate is about 160. So my guess would probably be in the 200s, like
I think you got to be right above 250.
250.
I think so. I think so because, like, for many of the other guests that we've discussed, I mean, everybody has a different driving record, but DUIs is as worst as it comes, mate. Huh? I mean,
Yeah.
can't get really worse than that, except if you've been into crazy accidents. Thanks that you've not been in accidents, because that would have been a pretty tough spot to be in. But yeah, I would schedule something around 250. So moving on to some of your expenses. So you probably have, for 20 years old, the person that has the longest number of pages for expenses. With 9 pages on your record here, you pretty much spend about 10 to 12 transactions a day on something called 3 Square Market. So what is that?
At the warehouse,
Okay.
they have like this little market that has a bunch of like little fridges or whatever, and then it has a bunch of stands that have like, candy, food. The fridges have like pre-made sandwiches, burgers you can heat
Yeah.
up, stuff like that. And I usually go in there in the morning when I first get to work. Hey, I get a couple like meat sticks, cheese sticks, jerky, whatever, some Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
And then on my lunch, I actually get like, it's overpriced. It's like a $6 burger,
Yeah.
and I'll get that for my lunch. And then around the end of the day, I'll get some more like snacks or whatever. And
Yeah.
I use that machine about like 5-6 times a day at work.
Yeah. I mean, it's every day. And it's crazy. It's like small transactions you wouldn't even assume. But, I mean, at least, dude, what, $15, $20 a day, maybe? $15? Easy.
I'd say about 15, yeah.
So 15, what, you work 5 days a week?
Yeah, 5 days.
It's $300 a month. $300 a month on this 3 Square Market for candy, dude. I mean, I understand you have a couple burgers, but just be mindful of that, dude. It's more than, what is it, 300 a month for your income that you're spending on a candy machine, man. It's 12% of your income. Dude, it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. And that excludes some of the rest of your food that you probably buy, or your parents potentially buy food for you, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Let's look at some of the rest of your expenses here. Smoke. So you smoke, my friend.
Yes.
What an expense too, summing to about $100 a month on it. When did you pick up that?
Around the age of 17.
17?
But for me, it was just vaping.
I mean, look, you've seen all those ads for smoking, and so I'm not going to be the guy to tell you that, smoking is bad. You probably know all of that.
Yeah.
Financially, it's tough. Every amount that you can either invest on yourself or save is going to multiply by an amount that you can't even imagine over the course of time because you're starting so young. But just from a finance perspective, if at some point in your life you want to plan to have kids, if you want to be an entrepreneur, start a project, build something on your own,
Yeah.
it can completely change the course of life of a person on a little expenses like this, like smoking.
Okay.
So I'm not telling you shut it down straight away because, it's probably not realistic. But just maybe be mindful. Can you potentially reduce slightly your consumption on this? We'll discuss into that.
Yeah.
Moving on. I mean, you have some online shopping, Shopify, $96, $50 here. You do a bit of shopping. That's fair. I see you're taking Uber. But one of your other biggest expense, Denton, is PlayStation. Okay. So PlayStation, you spend over $250 a month on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the name of the game. Look, what can I tell you? I was young too. I used to do that. I would play on Xbox and I would play on like so many video games and stuff. What game do you play to spend $250 a month on?
A lot of it was Madden or MLB The Show. Like,
oh, I see.
They always have those things in the store that are like limited time sale or whatever, and it gets to me, man. It makes me want to buy it.
Yeah, but then you don't spend a dime on the side. If you were telling me you come and you're like, okay, well, I can afford that because you know what? I'm putting $1,000 on the side. I will be like, you know what? Go for it. Go for it because you're making the efforts on the side to spend $1,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've budgeted that amount to spend on PlayStation. And I'm spending it, and I'm okay with that because it's part of my finance. But on the side, I'm making efforts. Right now on the side, I mean, you've even said it yourself, and we've discussed on it. You're not spending a dime. So let's look at how can I make sure that you still can afford some of that PlayStation because I want you to still live a young life and be along with your hobbies. But on the side, make sure that you're putting yourself towards the future, okay? So my goal here is going to make sure that we can still cater to some of those needs that are for you. But on the side, you're taking the work and you're doing what it takes to build your future, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, the next one that I see here that I was a little bit surprised of is the Smart Start for 136. What is that?
Oh boy, that's what happens when you get a DUI is they make you put this thing in your car.
Okay.
And every time you start it, you gotta blow into it. You gotta blow every 10 minutes. You gotta blow every 45 minutes. It depends.
Every 10 minutes?
The first 10 minutes after starting it, you do, and then it's every 45 minutes. And
whoa,
that is, the cost varies person to person, is what I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
Just because mine is like a pre-trial agreement with the court, I only have to do $136 a month. But there's some people that, the DOL said they have to have it, and they're paying like $200, $300 a month. No. So I'm on the luckier side.
Okay.
How long I have to have it, I'm not totally sure yet. I have a few court dates coming up, a hearing coming up with the DOL, so I have to figure all that out.
Yeah. Something to realize, and for my audience here as well, is a DUI is not... Here again, we are a finance channel, right? So I'm going to link it back to math. A DUI, other than record on your, on your driving license history and increase in some of the expenses associated with your insurance, for example, and just the theory behind it, kind of putting others at risk. The cost associated with this is astonishing. I mean, on average, a DUI in the state of Washington it's costing you in fees between $823 to $5,000. So you've had two. You've already paid a couple fees. I'm expecting for you to still have a couple coming in.
Yeah, that's my expectation too.
That can be a big burden at 20 years old, my friend. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Let's take that into account into our calculations, and let's see how you can pull that out self. I'm going to tackle one of the last expense that you have here related to your zip type payments. So what is that?
They have this thing now, like... I just bought some AirPods, and I use the Pay in 4. PayPal used to do it, but they call it... Yeah, they call it Zip or Klarna now, and, I pay $50 for the first payment. I get the item, and then I just pay every 2 weeks.
Is it interest-free?
Yeah, interest-free.
Okay.
Completely. It doesn't necessarily help your credit score, but, I mean, it's a nice feature, so I take advantage of it when I can.
Okay. So let me tell you straight away. That's my personal opinion. If you can, don't use it. If you can, don't use it. Because this is the same mindset as credit cards. You're like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to buy it on my credit card right now. And then, see you in 2 months. I don't need to pay it right now. So right now it's okay because you are on an interest-free. It's interest-free. So it's not costing you much. But it's the mindset that I don't want you to have.
Okay.
Because it's a mindset of relying on debt.
Yeah.
But then I see people 10 years ago that have $15,000, $20,000 on their credit cards because they started with a system like this. And then they're sinking with hundreds of dollars a month of interest that they're throwing to the garbage. So it's a mindset that I don't want you to have. It does not exist. If you have an emergency or something along those lines and you really need the good, yeah, because you're not paying a fee on it and you are positive that you can pay it on time for those 4 payments. Because they have you at the back end, of course. If you're not paying it on time, they're just waiting for you and boom, interest on that. And generally, it's not the good interest. So just be mindful on that. Don't get into that mindset, mate.
Okay.
Just wait till you have the assets on that front. Okay. Let's move on to some of your other debt. As we recorded together, you have a credit card debt of about $350. So, okay, not too bad.
Yeah.
Let's get this out of the way right now. It's a 19% interest, so not such a bad interest for credit card. It's an awful overall, okay? So we will be discussing on how to get that out of the way. And then I'm glad to see you had that $4,000 personal loan that you've reduced to $700. Awesome. Great for taking action on this. It has an interest rate of 16%. Personally, every debt is bad debt except for student loans, depending on the interest, and mortgage. 16% is an awful rate. It sucks. So we need to tackle that ASAP as well.
Yeah, it's the thing with the app, is I didn't realize how much interest I was paying on it. Because for me, it just says the balance remaining $4,000, right?
Yeah.
And then one day I actually put $50 into it. It just applied it to the interest.
To the interest, you mean? Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Nothing.
Yeah, it didn't even help. It just...
Well, but let me tell you straight away. At 16%, you used to pay about, let's do a very quick calculation. $4,000 at 16%, you would pay per year $355. Pretty much put into the garbage for no reason.
That's a lot more than I thought it was.
Yeah. So let's get this out. I want you to get out of this debt situation, okay? So awesome. That brings me to our next segment on this show, which is the money case. And we are back for the money case here for our friend Denton. And I want to make it specific to your case. And here in this example, we'll be looking at the cost of your DUI. So your DUI, only if we look at actually the cost associated with the blowing mechanism that you have in your car, which is $136 a month for the next 2 years, I want to tell you how much that's going to cost you. In this case, right here, I have the amount of money that this DUI is going to represent if instead of paying those $136 a month, you would have invested that money in its entirety. So the $3,200 invested at 20 years old. By the time you retire, this amount would have summed to $147,000.
Wow.
So for our audience right here, this is prop money, okay? This is the cost of your DUI. What do you think?
That's not good. That's not good at all.
That's not good. You see, $150,000 for a damn DUI, dude. That's just linked to the blowing mechanism. I'm not even accounting for the court fees and all that comes into play. This is what little mistakes that you're going to correct at a young age can cost you for your life.
Yeah.
And this is assuming for people that want to make the calculation an investment of $3,260 for the next 40 years at an S&P 500 return of 10%, which is the historical average, if you were to invest that money. So all I want to say is to link those little expenses, that's $130 a month for the next 2 years. Think about your PlayStation expense. Think about the square mile and all those little expenses. Very little changes can make a tremendous amount of change for your future.
So if I was investing $136 instead of paying it, I could have that when I was older.
Yeah. If you were investing $136 for the 2 years every month, at the end of those 2 years, you would have $3,200 invested.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Investing that amount, you don't touch it. You just put it and you open the account 40 years later, by the time you're 60, assuming it's based on the same historical value of the decades of the S&P 500, which are the top 500 company in the US. You open that account in 40 years. What amount do you see on your screen? You would see 150,000.
Jeez. That
Okay.
would be good.
It could be good.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay. Because you're young, you've made a mistake. You now see how much does that mean in cash,
Yeah.
and you're going to change. Okay? Awesome. We are back after this money case and the costs associated with your DUI.
Yes.
So let's look at your recommendation. This is not financial advice. This is what I would do if I was 20 years old. And let me tell you, as I prelim on this, I used to be 20 and stupid. I was big into cars, for example. Okay, over the course of the past 10 years, I've had 8 different cars, from using them in drag race, to blow off an engine and so on. I mean, we've all done. We've all learned from experience. It's not like everybody comes to this world and know 100% what's the way to go. Okay, but in your situation, let's look at how we can make the best out of your income and the best out of what you like to spend it on, okay? Because I want it to be realistic. I want it to make sure that you can implement it, and I want it to be beneficial for your future, Denton. So first, as always, we identify your needs. Well, your needs, for the most part, I mean, you are making basic payments on some of your expenses. You don't have a car payment. You don't have rent to pay. So your needs, for the most part, I mean, it's only a couple $100 a month for you. I mean, if you want to, the needs refers to the expense that you can only take to survive. In your case, most of your spend is on your wants, okay? Is on things that you like to have, but at the end of the day are not necessary, okay?
Yeah.
So for your needs, to be honest, you have less than 20% because you don't spend much else on, as I mentioned, some of your car expenses and some of your basic foods that we've discussed, minimum payments and so on. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue, okay? For your needs, you get pretty low. But your wants is all over the place, from PlayStation to smoke to the 3 Square BS market that you spend a fortune to. Let's not take everything from 100 to 0, but I want you to bring it down. I want you to bring those expenses down to an amount that every month you save $1,000. This is your goal. I don't care how you do it. I don't care what you do. Every month you need to spend $1,000, which means you have $1,600 a month that you can spend on some of your needs, which sum to about $250, and your wants. Okay, $1,000 a month is your target. Is that unrealistic?
I don't think so, actually, when you put it in perspective like that. That probably could work if I just do the bare minimum. I don't buy what I want,
You can buy some of what you want, but instead of buying, I mean, the Swiss Square Market BS, the $300 a month, just do one snack a day, and then the rest maybe bring it from home. Okay. Give yourself $5 a day to spend on it, not 30. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a little thing. Trust me. That's already hundreds of dollars saved per month. For the PlayStation, you're spending about what? We said $250?
Yeah.
Just do, $100. Just bring it down. Bring it down. That's what I'm saying. Don't cut it because it's your life, it's your hobby, it's your passion. You still need to live. Bring it down, my friend. The smoking. Oh my God! If you can take this off, it's gonna cost you a fortune over the rest of your life.
Oh, I know.
Just. I mean, I know it's trendy, it's fun, but man, just maybe do it once or twice on parties. Don't smoke on your own. That's the same rule with gamble. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I like to gamble a little bit, knowing that it's a cost that I associate to entertainment. But for me, I have one rule: I never gamble by myself. Never, because then it becomes almost like a need, except of being like an entertainment for fun. Take apart the health reason, okay? Because again, everybody knows my stance and your stance probably on health. It's not beneficial to you. But only smoke when, let's say, you are with a group of friends And that's going to reduce your frequency. My goal is not to delete it, is to reduce your frequency without impacting your quality of life. Tell yourself, I don't smoke when I'm alone. That's all. If I'm with someone, if I'm a group of friends and it's trendy, and I want to be part of the group and smoke, okay, I can smoke a little bit. But don't smoke alone. That's all. That's the little rules. Nothing. And I don't think it's going to impact that much your quality of life because I'm not cutting it straight away from your life.
Yeah.
Little things like this can make a tremendous impact, okay? So I want you to have $1,000 saved per month, no matter what it takes. No matter what it takes.
Okay.
And that will, as we move on to the recommendation aspect, again, no financial advisor, this is what I would do if I was in your case. Number one, take care of those useless debt that you have that are still carrying on now, the $700 of personal loan and the $350 of credit card. This, I don't want them to see them next month.
Okay.
Do what you want. I call you back in 1 month and you tell me, Romain, I no longer have those expenses. Okay? I no longer have that damn debt that's useless, that's $300 that can potentially negatively impact your credit score. Okay? And just take it out of the way. Okay? So you're going to become debt-free for the most part in a month, dude. Debt-free. Debt-free. It's a new you. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what's going to happen to you for the most part, what I think is potentially it's about to come is the cost associated with some of your DUIs. Okay? The fines and all that. I want you to put the next months of your savings on the side. And that's going to be associated with your DUI expenses that you're expecting. Because the last thing that I want you to do, Denton, is to use any type of debt to pay for your DUI-related expenses. Forget that debt exists.
Okay.
Forget that debt exists. You've done it. You've made a mistake. You pay for it. You assume you take it on your shoulders.
Yeah.
No debt, no credit card, no personal loan, no zip, no all that BS. You take that debt and you pay for it and you move on. Next thing for you that I want you to play on. As a young person, you want to start building your credit score and you already have an excellent credit score. If you guarantee to me that at the end of every month, you pay your balance full, no matter what, I'm okay to say continue the credit card.
Okay.
And little by little, try to build credit card that gives you advantages. Do not take a credit card at the store. Okay? Even if they give you a crazy amount of promotions, I do not recommend that. Sometimes, exceptional case, you make a $10,000 purchase and it's it's 20% off. Maybe, okay, it's worth it. But that's later. It's not today. You're probably not going to do that in the short term.
Yeah.
Because what's going to be important for you right now is one of the components in the credit score game is account length. How long have you held that account for? What that means is that the first couple credit cards are going to be very important because you're going to carry those for a long time on your life because they're going to help build that account length within your credit score. So make sure you get right credit cards, either secured cards. If you don't have a good credit score and you need to start the credit card game, you get a secured card, which is an amount that is backed up that you've already invested, or credit card with low credit limits that are already with banks so that you can then upgrade those as time goes on. Okay? Forget about department cards. Next. Zip and all of that payment BS doesn't exist.
Okay.
Forget about this mindset. If you rely on that, you're screwed. Next thing, I want you to think about building an emergency fund, okay, Denton? This is Finance 101. An emergency fund is the minimum amount of money. It's 3 to 6 months of saving cash that covers your needs, okay? For you right now, your needs are low, but at some point you're going to want to move out and live in your own and so on. Start with a fund of $5,000. $5,000, okay?
Okay.
And what I want you to put that money on is what it's called a high yield saving account. But that's going to allow you to fight against inflation. And it's cash. It's cash money that you can take the next day. Okay. And then the next thing for you, the last one, is think about your retirement.
Yeah.
And think about the different options. Personally, I like Roth 401k. Your goal, if you're into a large company, is at least to have the amount where the company can match. Okay?
Yeah.
Remember this. always get the match from the company that you're working in. It's free money, and try not to touch that. Because as we mentioned, look, $130 per month can be turned to $150,000 by the time you retire. It's like crazy. The time component in money and investment is the key. It's time, and you have the most of anyone that has come on this show yet. Okay. And then I'm sorry, very briefly, for your nursing, how long is it going to take you to finish that?
Probably about 4 to 6 years.
4 to 6 years? Is that the average, or you're going the slow route?
The slower route.
Okay.
I'm not doing full-time at the school while I'm working full-time. It's kind of part-time classes.
Mm-hmm. If you were to go the fastest possible, how long would it take you?
You could probably get it done in about 3-4 years and get your bachelor's.
I know it's a lot to ask, but can you find any way to speed this up? Because what is it going to do?
I mean,
let me tell you what it's going to do, though. It's going to increase your earning potential. Instead of staying at that $44,000, the average salary for a nurse in the state of Washington is between 65 to 100, up to 120. That's with more experience.
Yeah.
But already you're increasing the earning that you can get, and that's going to be a key as well. But what would it take for you to go faster through that?
It would be hard. I mean, because I would have to work part-time.
I see.
And with all the money issues, I just don't know if I'd be able to do that.
I mean, your money issues, for the most part, are your wants. Huh? You reduce your wants, you have it. It's about what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's about what you want to become. You can either go the route of working a lot today, putting money aside, invest it. But if it's to work full-time, spend all of what you have on, BS, and not speeding up your nursing school, you're losing on all front. So you have to make a trade of all choice. Either you're okay to spend a little bit less and you push the nursing as fast as you can, so you get into a higher income brackets, or you go a little bit longer on your nursing because that's the way it works for you, but you save money on the side. If you don't spend a dime, you're losing on everything.
Yeah.
You got it?
Okay.
Awesome. That's cool, mate. Any remarks? And do you think that you're actually going to do this? Because in 1 month, let me tell you, if you tell me, yes, Romain, I'm going to do this, in 1 month I call you. And I say, hey, dude, did you pay your $700 on your personal loan? Did you pay your $350 on your credit card? Are you going to do this?
I think I can do it, yeah.
That's awesome. Any final remarks that you have for us, Denton, or anything that you want to share at a young 20 years old that done some, stupid stuff in the past, but you're coming back, man. You're coming back. What are your final thoughts?
I think this is good. I'm hoping I can pay everything off, get my own place again.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Get on your game. Get on your game. You have it, mate. You're making good income. Your expenses are just a little bit, unnecessary, but don't block anything. Be mindful of it. Get yourself back on your DUI. Get that BS out. Never again. Never again.
Never again.
Awesome. So as always, we like to finish this show with a fun fact and a party trick. Did you know that in 2021, around 39% of US adults would struggle to cover an unexpected expense of $400?
Jeez.
And that's why I'm making this show, man. Because so many people are in situations where something arises and they're screwed. And it's not with the $80 on your account that you're going to do something. You have $5,000 on the side, you can breathe, you can take risk.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming to Finance Action. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here. We hope you enjoyed to follow the story with us of Denton. We invite you to like, subscribe, and comment, and we see you guys next time. À bientôt.